police drone finds Fugitive, who has been living in a cave for 17 years. When we hear of a missing person, our instinct is to feel disappointment, concern, and as much sympathy we can muster for who we assume is the victim. This case might turn your opinions on its head, as not every missing person has been kidnapped, held hostage, or hidden away against their will. In fact, Song Moujiang was searched for by many for 17 years, though he certainly did not want to be found. Moujiang is a fugitive, on the run, and had tucked himself away from the sights of law enforcement. Moujiang was arrested several years ago with human trafficking charges but escaped and stayed hidden for 17 years in a secret cave. The Yongshan County Police were successful in finding the man after they employed a drone to help them out. It was reported that about a month before they found Moujiang, a group of people searching for him received a tip pointing them in the right direction to the mountain range sat just beside his hometown. This tip significantly helped to propel the search for Moujiang further. The mission initially started on foot, looking for Moujiang by making their way through the mountain range. However, working through the dense network of plants, wildlife, and different foliage did not make for a simple hike. Moujiang had plenty of time to work his way through to a cave, and the wildlife plenty of time to keep growing after his way through. So the team were met with a hefty challenge, with the parts of the mountain areas that were a little trickier to access. That is where the drone comes in. This difficult terrain was not going to halt the search of this fugitive, as the team sent a drone to search the area. It was 5 hours of flying the drone and letting it scan the area before something unusual was spotted. Upon first inspection, the team thought they had spotted some blue tile, which certainly looked more than a little out of place amongst the greenery. Between the remote location and the unusual colours, the team thought they might have found Moujiang in some sort of seemingly improvised DIY shelter. After this first sighting, the team took a closer glance. This is when they noticed traces of activity and domestic garbage. Now they had confirmed there was someone living in this space. Combined with the tip that Moujiang was in the area, the difficult and treacherous hour-long hike was well worth the journey. Police approached the cave from 3 separate groups before they found Moujiang in the rubbish-filled cave, spanning 22 square feet. Not only was Moujiang living in barely habitable conditions, but the fugitive had also lost some of his ability to communicate following so much time in isolation. Since this recapture effort in 2019, Moujiang has been sent back to prison after 17 years, hiding out just behind his hometown. Scientists discover lost city deep in the ocean. In the past, you have probably heard of the lost city of Atlantis. Well, what if I told you that we have actually discovered it? Maybe it's not really the lost city of Atlantis, but it is just as intriguing. Deep in the Atlantic Ocean, on a seafloor mountain called Atlantis Massive, researchers discovered in the year 2000 a massive and highly active group of hydrothermal vents. The area is filled with white spires jutting into the dark waters above and hosts some of the most interesting activities on the planet. The vents at Lost City produce methane and hydrogen abiotically. Usually, these simple molecules are produced by living creatures, but due to the presence of a chemical called olivine, the Lost City is able to create them by itself. When coming in contact with water, olivine sets off a chemical reaction, serpentinization, which allows the area to produce hydrogen and methane without the help of any living organisms. The presence of olivine in the area is thought to be because it is at the intersection of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and the Atlantic Transform Fault, making the Earth's olivine-rich mantle much closer to the surface of the seafloor than usual. Unlike other hydrothermal vents, the Lost City hydrothermal field produces very alkaline white smoke from its chimneys. This starkly contrasts black smoke vents, which produce acidic black smoke. Because the Lost City is not fueled by the heat of volcanic activity, the serpentinization reaction, however, is exothermic, which means it releases heat, making the surrounding water heat up to between 90 and 140 degrees Celsius. much cooler than that of black smokers, but still warm compared to the rest of the ocean. Since it is not reliant on the whims of fickle tectonic activity, Lost City is a very old group of hydrothermal vents dating back about 120,000 years. Scientists believe that since hydrothermal vents like Lost City produce hydrogen and simple hydrocarbons like methane, it may actually be key to the origins of life. All living things known to man subsist off of hydrocarbons and other organic molecules, so it makes sense that the earliest life forms on Earth would need an abiotic source of these chemicals. Lost City is teeming with microbial life that feeds on these molecules, showing us what it may have been like those hundreds of millions or billions of years ago when life began on our wonderful planet. An interstellar object that crashed into the ocean in 2014. On January 8, 2014, something incredible and almost unbelievable happened. A small meteorite belonging to another star system crashed into the Pacific Ocean. It struck the atmosphere about 100 miles off the coast of Papua New Guinea, deep into the dark of night. It had the energy equivalent of about 120 tons of TNT, and while that might sound like a lot, a good comparison to note is that it really was about 1% of the energy of the Hiroshima device. There was no known witnesses confirmed to have seen the crash. The meteorite was dubbed Cineos 2014-0108. It has recently been confirmed to be the first interstellar object ever discovered within our solar system. Amir Siraj, who is an astrophysicist at Harvard University, has been studying the meteorite since it was first discovered. It was travelling at 37.2 miles per second relative to the Sun, which is too fast for any object belonging to our solar system, which would be bound to the Sun's gravity to at least some extent and therefore travel at a slower rate. Now Siraj and his colleagues are gearing up to do what has never been done before. Not only are they going to dive into the deep waters of the ocean to retrieve fragments of the meteorite, but should their mission be successful, they will be the first to ever examine an interstellar object so closely. The operation is meant to be undertaken with the use of a magnetic sled the size of a king-sized bed on a long-line winch that would be dragged along the seabed. The hope is that tiny fragments of the meteorite will be attracted to the magnet and caught. This expedition, however, is estimated to cost $1.6 million. And Siraj and his colleagues are still working towards gathering that amount. So far, they have raised $500,000. Because of this, it is still unknown when the project will be started. For now, we can wait impatiently to reap the results of finding and examining something that travelled far and wide across solar systems to reach us. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.